I must say, the movie about Mahalia Jackson on Lifetime was stellar. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now, remember, subscribe to my channel, and click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow all the information I have in the description box as well as the comment section. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. Now, before I get started with this review, let me send a shout out to Metro Health DC. If you are in the DMV area and you're looking for quality health care, reach out to Metro Health DC today. The number is in the description box in the comment section, and there's also a form that you can fill out and fill out the form, give us your information, and someone from the outreach team will be in touch with you. Also, let me send a shout out to GMHC, which is Gay Men's Health Collaborative. If you are in the DMV area and would like to get tested for HIV, reach out to the GMHC crew to get yourself a home testing kit. You can have the kit mailed to you, or you can call and make a same-day appointment and actually come to our location and pick one up. And if you're interested in getting set up for PrEP, which is HIV prevention, reach out to the GMHC crew for that as well. Also, if you're a fan of KRSTV and would like to become one of my Black Diamonds, subscribe to my Patreon today. Black Diamonds, because in darkness, we still shine. For $5 a month, you get all of my YouTube content as well as special videos that are specifically for the Black Diamonds, and some of those videos will be shared on YouTube as well, just to give everybody a feel of what the Black Diamonds is all about. Also, check out my YouTube partner BK WorldTube, which is the Black Netflix. You get shows like The Haves and the Have-Nots and The Oval. So after this review, check out that link in the description box in the comment section to check out BK WorldTube. Now, this is my review for the Mahalia Jackson movie that appeared on Lifetime. It was produced by Robin Roberts, and I must say, it was stellar. And I am a huge fan of Mahalia Jackson. I grew up with her music. I remember as a little boy, they had this music collection of all of her songs. And I was just drawn to this commercial when I was a little boy. And I think it came out in 1992. And I think in 1992, I think I was 9 years old. And by that time, she had been dead for 20 years. And they had did this set collection of all of her songs. And from that point on, I was just immediately drawn to Mahalia Jackson. I mean, she was the pioneer gospel vocalist. I mean, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have Shirley Caesar. We wouldn't have CeCe Winans or Vicki Winans, Tremaine Hawkins. I mean, we wouldn't have some of these stellar vocalists and gospel artists if it wasn't for Mahalia Jackson. I mean, Mahalia Jackson was a pioneer and a trendsetter because she took gospel music to the mainstream. I remember watching a documentary where Bill Clinton, when he was stationed in the army, and I think he was in Europe, he said that he went to one of her shows, and he said that the people literally stormed the stage as if she was a rock star. So this woman not only did she have God-given raw talent, but she just had this magnetic ability that just drew people in. I mean, she had the favor of God. And, you know, it was great to actually see her story being told. because I definitely watched many documentaries about her, but I think they did a stellar job. I mean, in this movie, they talked about her upbringing, where early she was influenced by, by the blues and all of that. And she was pretty much raised very, very strict by her aunt. And her aunt pretty much said that, about her, because she was about to get baptized, and her aunt was pretty much saying, you don't deserve to wear that dress. And Mahalia was definitely a fighter. And we can definitely tell just from the interaction between her and her aunt that she pretty much had somewhat of a turbulent childhood. I mean, and a very strict childhood, being in the church, and that everything outside of the church was just wrong, and, you couldn't partake in anything in the world. So she really had a tough upbringing, but yet, her faith was actually nurtured at a very young age by her aunt. But, growing up, in the times that she was living in, where segregation and racism was at an all-time high, you can imagine some of the tough hurdles she had to deal with growing up as a black woman. And they also show her, crafting her gift, because she had this natural singing ability that wasn't really normal in the church, where the church was more, more kind of like just singing the notes, whereas, Mahalia had a lot of soul that she put in her singing. And there was one pastor that rejected her, and then a friend of hers actually told her to go to this music teacher, and he pretty much just ripped her down, and in a way almost broke her spirit, where he was saying that the way you sing, it will never do. What makes you think you're going to be able to stand in front of white folks singing the way you sing? And I was like, no, the hell he did not. Like, I was even bothered by that. Like, do you hear the natural, beauty of her voice? That you can give her anything and she will sing it down? But it really showed that struggle. It also showed her struggle with relationships, because she had 2 failed marriages. Her first husband, he lacked foundation. He'll start one thing and then will change and go to something else. And, you can't really build a successful marriage without foundation. He was a good guy, but he lacked foundation. She went to go audition for this play, and she got the part, but she didn't want to sing the kind of music that the play had. I mean, when she was auditioning, you literally saw the director and the pianist literally about to cry, because her voice was that beautiful and that authentic. And it was something that no one heard before. I mean, as I said, she was a trailblazer. And then she had her second marriage later on in her career, and he was just a hot mess. I mean, she's up there entertaining ministers like Martin Luther King, and he's offering them, yo, y'all want a drink? Like, seriously, bruh? I mean, even if the pastors did drink, you don't offer them that. If they drink like that, they do that in their personal time. But in a social setting, you offer them coffee. We all know that. And she just kind of had this, really somewhat, I would say, domestic disturbance type of relationship with this man. And he was a jazz trumpeter, I think. And he was just a mess. But then we saw it was this guy named Russell, who was played by Jason Durden. Y'all mainly know him from playing Basie Skanks in Greenleaf, and also his role in American Soul. And he genuinely loved her, and they really had a great relationship. And but the sad thing about it, he died, and her second husband was literally like a visual copycat of him. But as far as his personality and his heart was way off. It's like you got the copycat, but he was nothing like the original. And in honesty, he was worse. And we also see her develop this really close motherly relationship with this young boy John that she met at that audition she went to, and he literally becomes like her son, and he literally is with her, and he ends up going off, pursuing his own music career, pretty much in the secular world. But he loved but they had like a mother and son relationship, which was really good to see, because she never had any children of her own. And she actually talked about how she had this really bad surgery as a kid where they literally took her insides out to the point where she couldn't have children. And I think it was that surgery as a child which led to all of her many health problems throughout her life. I mean, because even though when she was, singing, in front of sold out crowds and all of that, she was in pain a lot. And I remember watching this in one of the documentaries I seen, and I remember there was one documentary where she was walking and you can literally see her stumbling while she's singing going on stage. I mean, this woman was in serious pain, but yet it was the love of God and the love of people that kept her going, especially in her role working with Martin Luther King in the civil rights movement. I mean, she was the voice of the civil rights movement. And I loved how they showed her and Martin Luther King's very close relationship, and how she was like a comforter to him. She was like somewhat of a sister to him. They had like a really good like family, like brother and sister relationship. And he leaned on Mahalia a lot. And Mahalia was one of those people that kind of, pumped him up when he was struggling or when he was down, because being in the role that Martin Luther King had, he definitely had some trying moments. And to see Mahalia be that person to push him in that direction, to serve the public and to serve the people and to serve God, was everything, especially in the March on Washington, after she sings and Martin Luther King comes up and she says, "Tell him about the dream, Martin." And that's where he did the infamous "I Have a Dream" speech, at the Lincoln Memorial, at the very same spot where Mahalia Jackson did her, this very same spot where Marian Anderson did her concert after they refused to let her perform at the Constitution Hall because she was a black woman. So there's a lot of history that was shared. And, also they showed her relationship with her pianist named Mildred. Now, Mildred, their relationship was very tight, but also it was very strained, because Mildred actually, started drinking very heavily. And we later found out the reason is because she had arthritis. She was in a lot of pain, and she wanted to play for Mahalia, because she said Mahalia pretty much said of Mildred that Mildred can play anything. She can keep up with me. But we saw Mildred struggling, with alcoholism and all of that. And then also struggled with the fact that once Mahalia's career started to grow, she wasn't paying Mildred. She never increased Mildred's salary. She literally paid Mildred the same salary for like 5 years. And we saw eventually that tension came to blow. But then it was beautiful to see them come back together. And after Mahalia's this big star and Mildred is now struggling due to her arthritis, and they begin to heal and patch up their relationship. And the end of the movie, we see her and Mildred go to the actual church where she started. And it was also beautiful how in the beginning, she was singing and people literally from the outside would come to the window to hear her sing. And we saw that throughout her life. She was a God-given singer. Like, she had a God-given talent. And she was proof that God is real. Only God could create something that magnetic and beautiful. And to see her go back to her roots with Mildred after Mildred was struggling, and she prayed and pretty much got the congregation to pray for Mildred. And then Mildred started playing and Mahalia sung the house down. I mean, it was a really beautiful movie. I was really glad that they finally decided to do a film that showcased, Mahalia Jackson, because, as I said, she is an icon. So many artists, I mean, even Jennifer Hudson said that when she did her infamous scene in Dreamgirls, where she sings, and I'm telling you I'm not going, in her mind, she was thinking of Mahalia Jackson singing How Great Thou Art. And we saw how much of a moment that was for Jennifer, because in the movie theaters, people were giving Jennifer Hudson a standing ovation. But Mahalia was getting that many years prior. So, shout out to Robin Roberts. You did a great job producing this. This was amazing. I truly enjoyed it from beginning to end. Get down in those comments if you saw this movie, and if you can, go to Lifetime and check this movie out. I definitely recommend it, because this movie really touched me deeply. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed that, Mahalia's legacy still lives on. So yeah, get down in those comments and let me know your thoughts about this. So until next time, everybody, take care.